Okay, so we're continuing here the Gemara of the story of the Churban. We're on the Gemara in Gittin Daf Nun Vav on the Aleph, and we're up to the point that we had the story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa at the party. We had the story of Bar Kamsa going to the Roman emperor, the Caesar, and telling him about a rebellion. We had the story about the sacrifice that was sent, the Churban, and the imperfection that was put into it. And we had the story of the debate that took place amongst the Rabbanan about what to do, and then we had Nero that was sent down to first deal with the Jews who he jumped and converted, and then we have Vespasian, and that's what we're holding now. Also Tsar Latfas Shani came Vespasian, and he made a 3-year siege. Havu bo hanu tlasa asiri. In Yerushalayim at the time there were 3 wealthy men. There were 3 wealthy people. Nakdimin ben Gurion. The first person's name was Nakdimin ben Gurion. The next one was Ben Kalba Savua. That was his name. Right? He was the father of Rachel, married to Rabbi Akiva. Ben Tzitzis HaKeses. Another person, Ben Tzitzis HaKeses. Okay, so the Gemara is going to tell us now why did they have these names, and each one is going to be related to their affluence, going to be related to the some way in which it expressed their wealth. But these were the 3 wealthiest people living in Yerushalayim at the time. Nakdimon ben Gurion shenokra lo chama ba'avuro, that the sun pierced on his behalf, that the sun is shone for him. They say Ben Kalba Savua. What does it mean? Why they call him the son of the satiated dog? It sounds like something, not so nice. No. Shekola nichnas lebeso kishu rav kekelev, because anybody who went into his house that was hungry like a dog, yatsa kishu sava, he would leave full. Right? So they called him kalba savua, the person of the full dogs, because it was a praise to him, that saying what a machnis orchem he was. How he gave people to eat until they were full, who used to come to him. Okay. Ben Tzitzis HaKeses. And what about this person, Ben Tzitzis HaKeses? Why a keses is like a pillow. So why are they calling him the person of the tzitzis and the pillow? He was so wealthy, and he had a nice, long, beautiful talis, and the strings were long that they would drag, and he didn't want them to drag on the floor, so he would spread out pillows all over where he would walk with his talis in order for his tzitzis strings not to drag on the floor. Again, even if this is true kipshuta, which I'm sure it is as far as the Metzias is concerned, but there's much deeper concepts that are being alluded to, hinted to over here by each one of these things. Okay. So the army, the others who say no, there's another reason that he was called Ben Tzitzis HaKeses, Shahisa Ksuso Muteles Ben Gedolei Romi. Because he would sit among the senators of Rome. He was like a person who was accepted even among the senators of Rome, and his clothing would be there among their clothing. Okay. Chad Amar Lahu. So one told to the Rabbanan, and he said like this: Ana Zaini lo b'chiti v'sari. I'm going to provide for the Jews in Yerushalayim who are under siege for 3 years. I'm going, so they had a certain amount of supplies, but then the supplies ran out. So he said, I will commit to providing wheat and barley. I'm going to provide wine and salt and oil. Okay, also basic substances that were necessary. And the other one said, I'm going to provide wood. Wood's necessary for cooking, for all of these things. So basically, they would have their basic needs sustained. Wheat and barley as far as the sustenance, making bread. They would have wine and salt and oil as far as being able to have other ingredients and other things. And we have wood in order to cook. Again, in the Maharal and many other Mefarshim, all these things are representative also of deeper idea. Okay, V'shivchu Rabbanan l'Netzivi, and Chazal, praised the most the one who was who had the wood, because they said that was the most important one. Okay, I'm just going to skip the Gemara. It says a little Gemara here about talking about how important the wood is. Okay, V'havilu l'Mezrin esrim v'chad shasa. They had enough there to support the Toshavei Yerushalayim, to support the people who were living in Yerushalayim for 21 years. 21 years, and obviously massive store supplies. again, of wheat and barley, wine, salt, oil, and wood. And obviously there was water there, and they could grow things there from the ground. You know what I mean? But they had the basics that they needed for 21 years. They could have held out for a 21-year siege. Havu buhu. Okay. However, as is almost always the case, including, I believe, in our current tzaros, very often, elements of our own are the ones who. There's all sorts of bayot that come from the inside. Havubu Hanu Biryonis. At the time, there were these Biryonim, is what they were called. A group of people called Biryonim, roughly translated as like a tough guy, a ruffian, a gangster. But we're going to see that these were people that were on the fringe. They were not the mainstream. They were extremists, if you want to call them that. Not religious extremists necessarily, although maybe they had religious rationales for what they were doing, but they were not the people that were following the Torah and following what the Rabbanim were saying at all. They were like some rogue element, but we're going to see that they were able to cause massive problems and cause tremendous problems. And like I was just saying, we just had this terrible incident that this Arab boy was kidnapped. Before this whole war and Operation Tzuk-Eitan and everything happened, but we had this situation where, now I think I don't even know how to compare that to the case over here, because here I think the people, there were Meshugana and the person who killed the boy, the mastermind, quote unquote, behind the whole thing, who in the press was said right-wing extremist, but it was a person who his own wife took out a protective order against him for his son. Thank you. Okay, and thank you. And so you can't really necessarily compare. But I have to stop over here. Maybe if I have a chance to continue, we'll find out what these biryonim, what these ruffians, these thugs in Yerushalayim did that really again brought about the Churban. Also played a major role in making it happen. We'll see if I'm able to continue. Like I said, I hope we don't need to see these, and that before the upload is done, Mashiach is here.